This did not prevent Meade from finally winning Corps command after leading the only near-successful Union attack at Fredericksburg in December 1862, and he continued to serve as commander of the 5th Corps throughout the dismal shambles of Fighting Joe Hooker's Chancellorsville campaign in May 1863. But the decision to appoint Meade as Hooker's successor in command of the Army of the Potomac on June 28, 1863, was anything but a foregone conclusion. After Chancellorsville, Lincoln had sounded out first Darius Couch as the senior major general in the Army of the Potomac on May 22nd, then Henry Slocum, Winfield Scott Hancock, and John Sedgwick, and finally John Reynolds on June 2nd as possible successors to Hooker. Actually, the name on almost everyone's lips as the invasion of Pennsylvania began was not George Meade, but George McClellan. McClellan is everywhere talked of as the only man capable to thwart the rebels in their late movements, reported a correspondent for the New York Herald on June 18th. And when the Army rumor mill began circulating news that General Hooker had been relieved and that he was to be succeeded by General McClellan, the men exhibited their joy on the march by singing and in other ways manifesting pleasures. Besides, it was no secret by the summer of 1863 that McClellan was ogling the possibility of the Democratic presidential nomination for 1864, and was in fact taking his first steps in that direction by publicly endorsing the Democratic candidate for Pennsylvania's governorship, George Woodward. So, almost by default, Lincoln bestowed command of the Army of the Potomac on George Meade. Bestowed being the operative word, since this time Lincoln did not consult, request, or beg, but simply ordered Meade to take command. The order came to Meade in the wee hours of the morning of Sunday, June 28th. The courier bearing the orders further startled Meade by woefully announcing, "General, I am the bearer of sad news," which induced Meade to think for a moment that he was being put under arrest, since he and Hooker had been at violent loggerheads over the blame for Chancellorsville, to the point where Alexander Webb feared that a court-martial might ensue. The orders, when Meade tore them open, told an entirely different tale, and his first impulse was to rouse his staff with the injunction, "Get up, I'm in command of the Army of the Potomac." The news, however, did not set off spontaneous demonstrations of joy in the Army.